I'm Kyung Kim. Today we're going to talk about a couple of academic papers in these sessions. First of all, I must say that we have 10 minutes for each presenter. I'm sorry about that, but due to the time limitation, please consider the time limits in your presentation. So first of all, we're going to talk about the spatial and temporal reasons of the tourism and outdoor recreation industries in the United States throughout the COVID-19 pandemic by Professor Yang. Please invite Professor Yang with a big hand.
Okay, thank you for the introduction. Good afternoon. I'm Eunjung from Kyung Hee University. Today I'm going to talk about the spatial temporal resilience of tourism industries during a national crisis. Before we jump into tourism industry resilience, I'm going to share the reason why this research used COVID-19 as its case of a national crisis. In the Scopus search, we can see the top research keywords in research titles, abstracts, and the list of keywords. These are the top keywords within 20 years, 10 years, and 3 years in tourism research. Although various topics have been addressed in the field of tourism, dynamics in top keywords are relatively stable because most top keywords look very similar across the years. What we need to focus on is the outlier in these top keywords in the last 3 years. COVID-19 is listed in second place out of the top keywords, which indicates that this crisis has shocked the field of tourism. Technological development enable us to go anywhere more easily than ever before. But at the same time, a crisis in one location could be easily spread around the world like COVID-19. So this indicates that all populations and communities face some level of risk and uncertainty from global or national crisis. What we need to think about is how tourism industries can continue to successfully prepare for and recover from a national crisis. This concept is called resilience. Resilience theory explains the ability to recover from a crisis while mitigating future negative impact. Simply, we can understand the resilience as this red ball bouncing back from a shock based on its recovery ability. Many researchers and policymakers have tried to identify which factors are significantly connected to enhancing resilience and how to accurately quantify resilience in response to various crises. If we apply this resilience theory to tourism and hospitality industries, we can understand this as industry resilience. Industry resilience refers to each industry's ability to recover from a crisis while mitigating negative impact down the road. During COVID-19, the resilience of most tourism and hospitality industries significantly decreased due to the travel restrictions. However, as this crisis continued, short-term and long-term industry resilience showed different patterns across communities. Research in response to a national crisis, especially the pandemic, examined how tourism industries have been affected by crisis and proposed frameworks for how tourism industries can move forward in a sustainable manner. In this prior research, tourism industry resilience has been mentioned and at times quantified. However, methods for quantifying tourism industry resilience to a long-lasting national crisis have not been well established. Prior research has measured tourism industry resilience using a single metric aggregated across large geographies. Or studies did use spatial metric, but they focused mainly on short-term local crisis and overlooked long-lasting national crisis. Let's talk about these limitations in more detail. The first limitation was about using a single matrix aggregated across large geographies, such as surveys of business owners or managers' perceptions of industry resilience. This aggregation cannot reflect spatially heterogeneous industry resilience across communities and prevent localized recovery efforts. Recently, some studies have applied metrics which can consider the spatial heterogeneity of industry resilience. Specifically, researchers focused on location quotient here, as this value reflects the local industry's resilience status. Simply, this value shows how much a tourism industry is developed in a specific area compared to the national average. So when a local crisis happens in this specific area, this relative value shows how quickly tourism industries in this area are recovering from the local crisis. However, when we use this value to measure industry resilience, the baseline assumption is that national tourism markets are relatively stable, and only this specific area is affected by the local crisis. If an entire country is affected by a crisis, this national average of tourism industry value will likely decline or be highly unstable. So this value is not useful within the context of a global and national crisis. Thus, this study proposes the spatial temporal measurement model for tourism industry resilience to a long-lasting national crisis. The main research questions are: what indicators can be used to reflect spatial temporal dynamics in tourism industry resilience? And how did short and long-term tourism industry resilience change during a long-lasting crisis? As a case, we examined tourism industry resilience during a COVID-19 pandemic. In our measurement model, we used employment, wages, and establishment of tourism industries to measure industry resilience. These are absolute values that can reflect absolute changes in tourism industries during a crisis. Short-term industry resilience reflects each tourism industry's ability to recover from the immediate impact from COVID-19. So short-term industry resilience is measured by the growth rate between the first and second quarters of 2020. This period includes the first 3 months after the COVID-19 outbreak. And then long-term industry resilience was calculated between the second quarter of 2020 and the second quarter of 2021. This includes the period of long-term impact beyond those experienced in the first 3 months of the crisis and the tourism industry's long-term abilities to recover from the pandemic. Now I'm gonna share my findings. These research shows the temporal trends in employment, wages, establishment, and location quotient for tourism sectors. Except for the research based on location quotient, short-term growth rate or decline in the first quarter of 2020. These were sharp declines compared to those in the first quarter of 2019, which is a year before the outbreak. Long-term growth rates, however, increased a little bit after the first quarter of 2020 as most states relaxed regulations to boost their economies. Nevertheless, based on the total growth rate, integrating short and long terms, all sectors tended to decline, meaning that most tourism sectors experienced long-lasting and negative impact due to COVID-19. Meanwhile, location quotients for tourism sectors dramatically increased in the first quarter after the pandemic. These are contrary not only to the temporary trends in employment, establishment, and wages, but also the negative impact this crisis had on the tourism industries as documented in other studies. To explain these results in more detail, we mapped the spatial distributions of the short and long-term tourism industry resilience across counties in the US. Most counties can be classified as having low short-term industry resilience but high long-term industry resilience, as shown in yellow here. This can be explained by local policies. Most counties issued mandatory stay-at-home orders, which had a greater effect on the tourism sectors that were less adept at transitioning to non-contact operations. In the long term, however, resilience trended up as most counties relaxed travel restrictions. We further analyzed tourism industry resilience to identify statistically significant clusters of counties with high or low industry resilience. Lower short-term industry resilience was clustered in the western US. Meanwhile, the lower long-term industry resilience was not clustered in this area. This result might be explained by the unique characteristics of these counties. These counties have relatively high concentrations of public land, like national parks, and reliance on outdoor tourism activities. These findings shows that although tourism sectors are significantly and negatively affected by the crisis in the short term, outdoor recreation-based tourism sectors recovered relatively very well. These findings can be connected to prior studies reporting that many people in the US did outdoor recreation as COVID-19 lasted. So this study proposed key industry resilience indicators that can reflect spatially and temporally varying abilities to respond to and recover from the national crisis. Also, we proposed an industry resilience monitoring method based on publicly accessible time series data. This is the key to address various crises with high uncertainty, eventually leading to sustainable tourism development. Also, this study yielded a practically meaningful classification of counties that can be used to strategically or spatially target recovery efforts. Thank you for your attention. I welcome any questions, and you can also find the details here in this paper. My research, my presentation was based on this research. 네, 한국어로 질문하셔도 괜찮습니다. 갑자기 영어로 해서.
International conference.
아, 네.
Okay, thank you. Very good presentation. I have one critical question. Resilience, actually, like a disaster, can be recovered by, government policy. But however, not disaster, like a human disaster, like a Itaewon accident or earthquake in tsunami in Japan. It's quite related to government policy and strategic move. So what do you think?
To what?
Well, it depends on government effort. It will be make shorter resilience or longer resilience.
Absolutely. So when we research on resilience, we comprehensively consider various dimensions like social dimensions, economic dimension, and these dimensions include like policy things you mentioned. So this slide just simply describes how resilience works. But actually, in the resilience research, we need to comprehensively consider various factors in the real world.
Thank you.
All right, thank you for your great presentation, and thank you for your great questions and answers. And due to the time limitation, we have to move to another presentations. The second one is a picture worth 1,000 words, evidences from online reviews from Dr. Janssen. Please come to you.
Hello everyone. First of all, let me introduce myself. My name is Seong-yun. I'm a Ph.D. student in business administration at Kyung Hee University. Today I'm going to be talking about our research on the role of human faces in user-generated photos in online reviews. Well, this presentation is structured as follows. As you know, online reviews are product evaluation posted by other consumers. Here we show a typical online review from Amazon consisting of a reviewer's information, product information, test, photo, and a helpful vote. In this study, we focus on the relationship between photos in online reviews, especially the human faces in photos and the number of helpful votes. Not only Amazon, but most online review sites such as TripAdvisor and Yelp provide a vote of helpful or useful of a review. Review helpfulness defines the perceived value of a review to its readers and measures consumers' evaluation of reviews. In most studies, review helpfulness is measured by the number of percentage of helpful votes. Well, photos uploaded by users in online reviews, known as user-generated photos, play an important role in consumer judgment and decisions. Two reviews are shown here. The one on the left does not have a photo, and the one on the right has a photo. According to previous study, online reviews that include photos are considered more useful and enjoyable than reviews without photos. A photo can carry a lot of information. Two online reviews are shown here, while the photo on the left does not include the face, and the photo on the right includes the face. Previous studies have shown that the human face is one of the most informative stimuli we perceive. There are special brain modules for recognize faces, making it easy for us to read faces for effective social interaction. Faces have been shown to attract attention more readily than other stimuli. This visual attention from face is important for photo because a photo must first attract the viewer's attention in order to lead to the perceptions of reviews. Well, although the face is important, previous research on user-generated photos has largely ignored the face. Previous study has focused on photo topics, photo sentiment, photo types, and lack discussion of faces. While studies on user-generated photos barely mention faces, there are a few studies that discuss faces appearing in avatars or profile photos in online reviews. Most of studies show that faces in avatars or profiles can have an impact on review readers. The faces may have a different impact because of the extremity of reviews. Generally, reviews can be divided into positive and negative reviews. In Amazon, 1 to 3 star reviews are considered negative reviews, and 4 and 5 star reviews are considered positive. In summary, the purpose of this study is to examine the impact of user-generated photos and face and the number of faces in user-generated photos on the review helpfulness. Specifically, we propose two research questions. First, does the presence of user-generated photos, the presence of faces, and the number of faces affect the review helpfulness? Second, does the presence of photos, the presence of faces, and the number of faces affect the review helpfulness differently depending on the review valence? We draw on media richness theory to develop hypotheses for the first research question. Media richness theory refers to the efficiency of communication between individuals influenced by media susceptibility. According to media richness theory, photos can carry more information, especially about products and services, with less cognitive processing than text. As I mentioned before, among the range of information contained in photos, faces are more eye-catching than other stimuli. Even a single glance at a face can provide a lot of information, such as the other person's intention, attention, and the emotional state. This means that in online reviews, even without reading the text, we can get a lot of information from the face, such as the attitude towards the product. So in summary, we assume that online reviews with photos contain richer information than reviews without photos, especially when faces are present, increasing the richness of photos as an information medium and the helpful of reviews. So we propose the following hypothesis. Online reviews with user-generated photos will have higher review helpfulness. User-generated photos with faces in online reviews will have higher review helpfulness, and user-generated photos with multiple faces in online reviews will have higher review helpfulness. We draw on negativity bias to develop hypotheses for the second research question. Negativity bias refers to the tendency to overvalue negative information, leading to a great impact of negative information. In online reviews, negativity bias causes consumers to have different perceptions and attitudes towards positive and negative reviews. Negative reviews are perceived as more helpful. Well, this means that although the photos and the face would provide richer information, but in positive reviews, the reviewer may gloss over them and not draw attention on them. In contrast, in negative reviews, reviewers may carefully analyze the information provided in the review, such as the facial cues in the photos, resulting in an increase in the helpfulness of the review. In summary, we propose the hypothesis that in negative reviews, online reviews with user-generated photos and user-generated photos with faces and user-generated photos with multiple faces will have higher review helpfulness. Here we have the research framework with the dependent variable is review helpfulness, and independent variables are all categorical variables. For the first hypothesis, we analyze whether reviews with photos will have higher review helpfulness, and next we analyze whether photos with faces and with multiple faces will have higher review helpfulness, and finally we analyze the moderating effect of review valence. Our sample was taken from the Amazon from the US region. We choose the dresses subcategory of the women's clothing department and collected product information and our online review information for a total of 192 products on the first full page. We choose the clothing department because of the experimental nature of the clothing. According to previous research, consumers rely more on online reviews for their purchase decision for experiment goods than for search goods. This table shows the coding or measurement of the variable. The dependent variable's review helpfulness is measured by the number of helpful votes per review given by Amazon, and the independent variable are all category variables and coded as 0 and 1. We divided control variables into review-related control variables and product product-related control variables. Product-related variables include the overall rating, price, the number of reviews of the product, and review-related variables include the number of days the reviews was posted, and review length, review readability, review rating, test sentiment, and the number of photos. Because help forward include a lot of theory, which means many reviews did not get any help forward, so we choose a theory inflated model to consider the effect of too many zeros. Well, this table shows the result of hypothesis 1. The results show that the effect of having photos on review helpfulness is positive and significant. Reviews with photos received more help forward than review without photos. Specifically, review with photos received 8.85 times more help forward than review without photos. Well, therefore, hypothesis 1 is supported. And this table shows the result of hypothesis 2A. The results show that the effect of photos with faces on review helpfulness is positive and significant. Reviews with faces received more help forward than review without faces, and specifically, reviews with faces received 1.63 times more help forward than review without faces. Therefore, hypothesis 2A is supported. And this table shows the result of hypothesis 2B. The results show that the effect of photos having multiple faces on review helpfulness is negative and significant. In contrast to the hypothesis, reviews with a single face received more help forward than reviews with multiple faces. Specifically, reviews with multiple faces received 0.78 times as many help forward as reviews with a single face. Therefore, hypothesis 2B is not supported.
Right, you got 2 minutes.
Okay. So, as a summary, the hypothesis 3A is not supported because in contrast to the hypothesis, the relationship between the test with photos and review helpfulness is more significant in positive reviews. And hypothesis 3B is supported. Also, hypothesis 3C is supported. Well, this table is a summary of our results. So, in summary, reviews with photos as well as photos with faces have higher helpfulness, and however, reviews with multiple faces have lower helpfulness. And review with photos have higher helpfulness in positive reviews. However, reviews with faces and review with multiple faces have higher helpfulness in negative reviews. Our study contributes to the existing literature. First, previous literature lacks a discussion of human faces in photos, in user-generated photos. We discuss not only the presence of faces, but also the effect of faces in positive and negative reviews. By validating the role of faces in photos, we also add the literature on media richness theory and negative bias. Our work also contributes to practice. Our work may provide new ideas on how online review sites can guide users in writing reviews, and may offer suggestions to consumers who write reviews to improve their helpfulness. This concludes my presentation. Thank you for listening.
Yes, please.
I know we are behind the schedule, but your presentation is very worthwhile to ask you. Your hypothesis, the first one, is obviously is true with face or only text. Face is influence to the helpfulness, which is obvious, right? How about text is very negative, but smile, or the text is very positive, but frown face. Did you check that the paradoxical situation?
First of all, we put the test sentiment as a control variable. PPT file. 괜찮습니다. 그냥. Yes. First of all, we put the test sentiment as a control variable in the model, and as you said, effect of face will differently in negative reviews and positive reviews. So it's the reason why we test the moderating effect of review valence. And thank you for your suggestion. I think I should put the test sentiment as instead of the review valence as the moderating variable to test the hypothesis.
Thank you.
All right, thank you for your presentation. And let's move on. Now we are ready for the next presentation, developing goal AI for linguistic landscape research. Please.
네, 알겠습니다. 네, 저는 한국어로 발표를 하도록 하겠습니다. 아까 앞에 그 양은정 교수님께서 영어로 발표를 하셔서 정말 깜짝 놀랐습니다. 저는 상상도 못했거든요, 영어 발표라는 걸요. 그래서 사실 돌아가야 하나 좀 잠깐 생각을 했는데 다행히 그 좌장님께서 한국어 발표를 또 허락해 주셔서 한국어로 저는 발표를 하도록 하겠습니다. 네, 저는 그 소개해 주신 대로 그 경희대학교 지리학과에 있고요. 홍성연이라고 합니다. 저는 그 언어경관이라고 하는 걸 연구하는 데 있어서 어떤 그 인공지능, 컴퓨터 비전 같은 것을 좀 접목하는 방법, 이런 것에 대해서 좀 연구를 하고 있고요. 지금 좀 진행 중인 연구이긴 하지만 이런 것에 대해서 좀 간단하게 소개를 좀 드리도록 하겠습니다. 저는 원래 그 도시 공간에서의 어떤 분리, 인구 집단의 분리 같은 부분에 대해서 연구를 하고 있는데요. 사실 원래 그 어떤 도시에서의 인구 분리를 연구하는 데는 센서스라던가 아니면 어떤 그 요즘은 그 통신사 데이터 이런 것들을 좀 많이 사용하는 편입니다. 근데 저는 개인적으로 구글 스트리트 뷰라든가 아니면 뭐 카카오 로드 뷰 이런 어떤 이미지를 통해서도 우리가 좀 어떤 인구의 분리 같은 부분을, 인구의 분포 같은 부분을 연구할 수 있을 거라고 생각을 했고, 그 과정에서 이제 언어경관이라고 하는 개념을 가지고 왔고요. 그리고 여기서 어떻게 우리가 컴퓨터를 사용해서 좀 오토메이트 할 수 있을까, 이런 것에 대한 어떤 고민이 좀 담겨 있는 발표라고 생각을 하시면 될 것 같습니다. 어떤 분석 방법에 대한 이야기를 하기에 앞서서요, 어떤 배경, 어떤 그 개념에 대한 얘기를 좀 먼저 드리려고 하는데요. 언어경관이라고 하는 것이 우리가 어떤 지역이나 장소에 가게 되면 거기에 뭐 여러 가지 객체들이 있습니다만 간판 같은 것도 있고 도로 표지판 같은 것도 있잖아요. 거기에는 텍스트가 담겨 있고 그런 어떤 텍스트가 주게 되는 인상, 이미지, 느낌, 이런 것들을 우리가 언어경관이라고 좀 통칭해서 이야기를 할 수 있을 것 같습니다. 당연히 그 특성상 교외보다는 도시에서 좀 두드러지게 나타나고요. 도시에서도 또 특히 어떤 상업지역 이런 부분에서는 좀 많이 큰 비중을 차지하는 그런 어떤 요소라고 할 수 있을 것 같습니다. 이 언어경관을 보게 되면요, 이 언어경관에는 1차적으로는 그 지역에 어떤 언어권의 사람들이 살고 있는지를 좀 나타내는 것 같습니다. 당연히 이제 한국에 가면 한국어 간판이 많이 보이는 거고, 일본에 가면 일본어 간판이 많이 보이겠죠. 그런데 이제 단순히 이게 그러한 어떤 그 간판에 나타나는 언어와 그 지역에 사는 사람들이 어떤 사용하는 언어, 이게 그 100% 일치하거나 비례하는 것은 아니어가지고요. 예를 들면 뭐 도쿄라든가 뭐 우리나라도 마찬가지인데 거의 대부분의 사람들이 어떤 단일 언어를 사용하지 않습니까? 하나의 언어를 그렇게 모국어로 하고 있습니다. 일본 사람들은 일본어, 한국 사람들은 한국어, 90% 이상이 한국어를 모국어로 사용하고 있지만, 나가서 보시면 아시겠지만 그렇다고 해서 간판의 90%가 한국어냐라고 하면 그거는 아니죠. 영어도 있고요, 뭐 일본어도 있고 중국어도 있고 그렇습니다. 거기에는 뭐 굉장히 다양한 여러 가지 이유가 있을 수 있어가지고요. 일단 기본적으로 이제 뭐 이렇게 우리가 이렇게 뭐 한국 그 이인들이 많이 살고 있다고 하지만 거기에 보면 그 유학생이라든가 이민자라든가 아니면 다양한 어떤 이런 어떤 언어를 사용하는 사람들이 같이 섞여서 살고 있기도 하고요. 또 그런 사람들이 많이 사는 지역, 이민자들이 많이 사는 지역, 유학생들이 많이 사는 지역에는 그 사람들이 사용하는 언어가 좀 이렇게 과대하게 나타날 수도 있고요. 그리고 또 같은 비중의 어떤 그런 언어권을 사용하는 소수민족들이 좀 몰려 있는 지역이라고 하더라도 지역마다, 국가마다 가지고 있는 어떤 법제도들이 또 다르게 됩니다. 어떤 나라 같은 경우에는 간판을 만드는 데 있어서 굉장히 어떤 엄격한 제도, 법 같은 게 있어가지고 꼭 요거에만 맞춰야 한다. 프랑스 퀘벡 같은 곳이 이제 그런 사례가 될 수 있을 것 같고요. 우리나라 같은 경우에도 이런 어떤 그 간판에 대한 법제도가 있습니다만 비교적 좀 느슨하게 좀 적용을 하는 편이죠. 있긴 있습니다만 처벌을 그렇게 심하게 하지 않는다. 우리나라 같은 경우에도 한국어가 굉장히 좀 많이 나와야 하거든요. 그렇지만 일본어로만 간판을 만들어도 영어로만 간판을 만들어도 그것만 가지고 처벌을 좀 강하게 하지는 않는 편입니다. 그런 차이가 있기 때문에 이게 단순히 어떤 인구를 그대로 보여주는 게 아니고 다양한 어떤 그런 그 차이가 지역마다 좀 나타나게 되고요. 관광의 측면에서도 이게 어떤 휴양 도시라든가 관광 도시라든가 그렇다면 그런 곳에서는 그 단순히 어떤 그 지역에 살고 있는 그 사람들의 어떤 분포 이것뿐만이 아니고 그 오는 사람들을 위해서 영어라든가 아니면 그 사람들을 위한 그 사람들이 이해할 수 있는 그런 말들이 좀 많이 나오게 되는 것 같습니다. 거기에 또 하나 이제 우리가 좀 무시할 수 없는 부분이 이 언어라고 하는 것이 1차적으로는 어떤 정보를 전달하는 그러한 기능을 가지고 있지만 꼭 그렇게만 사용을 하는 건 아니어가지고요. 우리가 사실은 그 안에 담겨있는 의미를 크게 신경 쓰지 않고 아니면 정보의 어떤 전달력이나 이런 것의 어떤 효과성 이런 부분에 크게 어떤 신경을 쓰지 않고 어떤 하나의 어떤 아이템으로 어떤 트렌디한 느낌을 주는 이런 어떤 요소로 우리가 좀 언어를 사용하기도 합니다. 우리나라에 있는 많은 영어 간판들 어떤 특히 어떤 술집이라든가 이런 바 이런 것을 보게 되면 영어로 굉장히 많이 적혀 있죠. 젊은 사람들이 가는 곳에도 영어로 된 간판들이 굉장히 많이 있습니다. 이거는 거기에 오는 사람들이 영어에 익숙하거나 영어에 편해서가 아니고 그게 갖고 있는 어떤 이미지나 느낌이 있기 때문에 이제 그런 언어를 일부러 사용을 하는 거잖아요. 그래서 언어 경관에는 이런 요소들이 굉장히 이렇게 밀집해 있기 때문에 모여 있기 때문에 이런 부분들을 우리가 좀 종합적으로 고려할 필요가 있고 그래서 지역에 따라 이런 부분을 좀 달리해서 연구를 할 필요가 있는 것 같습니다. 그럼 이 언어 경관을 어떻게 할 거냐, 어떻게 연구할 거냐에 대한 부분인데요. 기존에는 사실은 그 필드에 나가서 우리가 이런 부분들을 데이터를 가지고 오고 연구하는 경우가 굉장히 많았습니다. 그런데 이 필드에 가게 되면 시간적인 제약도 있고 공간적인 제약도 있기 때문에 이걸 좀 극복하기 위해서 우리가 어떤 그 구글 스트리트 뷰라든가 아니면 이렇게 뭐 카카오 로드뷰라든가 이런 어떤 첨단 IT 기술을 사용해서 이미지를 가지고 와서 이걸 처리하는 방법 이런 것도 좀 고안을 할 수가 있고요. 근데 우리가 이렇게 이미지를 가지고 온다고 하더라도 이 이미지를 가지고 와서 처리하는 데 있어서 어떻게 처리할 것이냐 이걸 만약에 저는 이제 굉장히 오랫동안 진행을 해오던 연구고요. 예전에는 이것을 가지고 와서 수동으로 매뉴얼리 이렇게 좀 프로세스를 했었습니다. 이미지 가지고 와서 여기에 한국어 간판이 있다, 영어 간판이 있다 이런 것들을 뭐 한국어 간판이면 1, 영어 간판이면 2 하는 식으로 이걸 하나하나 따가지고 좀 작업을 했는데요. 시간이 많이 걸릴 수밖에 없습니다. 물론 그렇게 많은 시간을 투자해서 우리가 이걸 하게 되면 그걸 통해서 뭐 예를 들면 영어 간판 같은 경우에는 이렇게 좀 고르게 분포해 있구나. 한국어 간판, 중국어 간판 같은 경우에는 옆에 있는 이렇게 붉은색으로 표시된 게 중국어 간판인데요. 중국어 간판 같은 경우에는 특정 지역에만 좀 밀집해 있구나, 몰려 있구나 이런 부분을 좀 우리가 확인할 수가 있었고요. 중국어 간판에만 좀 초점을 맞춰서 우리가 보게 되면 어떤 뭐 이렇게 중국어 간판 같은 경우에는 당연히 중국인들이 많이 살고 있는 조선족 분들이나 이런 분들이 많이 살고 있는 대림동 일대라든가 이런 지역에 간판이 좀 많이 보이는 것을요 확인할 수 있었고. 또 당연하게도 이렇게 명동이라든가 이렇게 뭐 사람들이 쇼핑을 하러 많이 오는 중국인들이 관광객들이 쇼핑을 하러 많이 오는 지역 이런 곳에도 중국어 간판이 좀 이렇게 오버 리프레젠트 되어 있는 이런 모습을 보였습니다. 또 그것과 함께 어떤 유학생들이 많이 밀려 있는 밀집해 있는 고려대, 그다음 외대, 경희대 요 클러스터 부분에도 중국어 간판들이 많이 밀집해 있는 걸 볼 수 있어가지고요. 매뉴얼리 프로세스를 해도 시간이 오래 걸리고 힘들긴 하지만 이런 인사이트들을 얻을 수는 있었습니다. 그런데 이제 이런 어떤 연구를 확장하고 제가 지금 이 연구를 할 때는 2018년까지의 이미지를 사용했는데 여기에 2019년, 20년 이미지를 더하고 아니면 서울이 아닌 부산의 어떤 그 데이터를 모아와서 우리가 이 연구를 좀 확장해보자라고 한다면 이 지금 데이터를 모아오고 이걸 수동으로 처리하는 이 과정을 다시 다 거쳐야 하는 거잖아요. 이 과정이 굉장히 고통스럽고 시간이 오래 걸리는 과정이기 때문에 이 과정에 우리가 요즘 컴퓨터 비전 이런 이야기를 많이 하기 때문에 이걸 가지고 와서 우리가 활용한다면 좀 더 효과적인 연구 수행이 가능하지 않을까, 소위 말하는 매스 디플로이 같은 게 가능하지 않을까라는 생각을 하게 됐습니다. 그래서 보시게 되면 뭐 스테이트 오브 디 아트 컴퓨터 비전 테크니크라고 이야기를 했는데요. 이 카테고리에 들어가는 방법들이 많이 있습니다. 여러분 아시는 것처럼 뭐 객체를 탐지할 수 있는 뭐 욜로, SSD 이러한 기술도 있고요. 이미지를 분할해주는, 객체를 분할해주는 세그멘테이션 메소드라고 해서 UNet, PSPNet 이러한 방법들도 있고, 그 다음 문자를 탐지하는 데 최적화되어 있는 이렇게 OCR 메소드에서 테서렉트, EGOCR 여러 가지 방법들이 있습니다. 개인적으로 여기 있는 것들 카테고리별로 하나씩은 다 써봤습니다. 싱글샷 디텍터, PSP넷, EGOCR, 테서렉트 다 써봤는데 이게 그렇게 쉽지가 않더라고요. 쉽지 않은 이유에는 뭐 사실 여러 가지가 있는데요. 첫 번째로 우리가 일반적으로 어떤 고양이를 인식하는 것 아니면 이미지를 우리가 스캔해서 문서를 스캔해서 거기서 어떤 텍스트를 인식하는 것과 다르게 이 스트리트 레벨 이미지에서 우리가 어떤 간판을 인식할 때는요. 그 간판을 지금 내가 사진을 찍은 위치와 간판 간의 거리 이 거리가 다르기도 하고요. 각도에서도 차이가 나타나게 되고 또 간판에 들어있는 글자체는 그 폰트가 굉장히 다양합니다. 그리고 이게 가로로 써 있는 경우도 있지만 세로로 들어가는 경우도 상당히 많고요. 굉장히 많은 변이가 있기 때문에 이게 일단 하나의 어려움으로 작용을 하더라고요. 또 하나 어려웠던 거는 멀티링규얼 세팅이라고 되어 있는데 이게 그냥 우리에게도요. 어떤 이미지를 주고 한국어를 찾아라 라고 하는 것과 한국어나 영어를 찾아라 라고 하는 것과 한국어, 영어, 태국어 중 아무거나 다 찾아봐라 라고 하는 것은 느낌이 좀 다르잖아요. 세 번째가 좀 어려워 보이죠. 컴퓨터 입장에서도 봐야 할 게 많아지게 되면 그만큼 어려움이 따를 수밖에 없는 것 같습니다. 근데 이 언어경관 연구를 할 때는 기본적으로 여러 언어가 섞여 있다는 게 전제니까 두 번째는 가지고 들어가는 거고요. 첫 번째도 우리가 어떤 이미지를 보는 거기 때문에 항상 따라오는 문제고요. 이 두 가지 문제가 다 있기 때문에 어떤 이런 기존의 어떤 방법을 가지고 갔을 때 어려움들, 한계, 기술적인 한계들이 있었던 것 같습니다. 그래서 이걸 하기 위해서 이런 어떤 그림들이 기존의 어떤 방법들인데요. 이걸 하기 위해서 제가 생각한 거는 두 가지였습니다. 일단 기존의 이런 어떤 씬 텍스트라고 하는 건데요. 그 이미지에서 다양하게 지금 위치해 있는 간판들을 찾아내는 기법. 아까 말씀드린 것처럼 여러 어떤 그 간판들의 크기가 다양하고 이런 다양성 때문에 어려움을 주고 있는데 요거에 대해서는 컴퓨터 사이언스 쪽에서 연구를 하는 사람들이 있습니다. 이걸 씬 텍스트 이미지 디텍션 아니면 리코그니션이라고 이야기를 하는데요. 이쪽에서 잘 성능이 좀 어느 정도 검증이 된 보통 보게 되면 여러 가지 기술들을 섞어 놓은 거거든요. 네이버에서 어떤 이미지를 텍스트를 인식할 수 있는 저 크라프트 같은 것과 그다음 기존의 어떤 이미지 디텍션 메소드를 이렇게 섞어서 랩핑을 해가지고 만들어 놓은 그런 어떤 프레임워크들이 있는데 그 프레임워크를 가지고 와서 여기에 이런 생각을 했습니다. 일단 우리가 지금 보게 되면 보통은 이미지에서 어떤 텍스트를 인식할 때 각각의 이미지를 따로따로 보게 됩니다. 첫 번째 이미지 가지고 와서 여기에 텍스트가 있는지 없는지 어떤 텍스트가 있는지 어떤 언어가 있는지 이렇게 보게 되는데 이 각각의 이미지를 개별적으로 볼 게 아니고 내가 일단 하나의 이미지를 봤다. 그리고 그 다음 이미지가 오는데 그 다음 이미지가 내가 지금 앞에서 본 이미지와 가까이서 찍은 이미지다 라고 한다면 그리고 앞에서 내가 만약에 한국어가 굉장히 많은 그런 어떤 영상을 봤다라고 한다면 그 다음 보게 되는 그 가까이서 찍은 영상에서도 한국어가 좀 많이 있을 수 있지 않을까라는 생각을 할 수 있었고요. 그런 것들을 사용해서 내가 이런 가중치들을 좀 다르게 준다면 결과가 더 좋아질 수 있지 않을까라는 생각을 하게 됐습니다. 그래서 이런 생각을 일단 하나의 어떤 툴로 구현을 하고요. 이걸 테스트 데이터셋을 만들었는데 두 가지 테스트 데이터셋을 만들었습니다. 하나는 어떤 좀 이디얼라이즈드 패턴이라고 해가지고요. 어떤 가상의 어떤 패턴을 만들어서 정말 테스트를 정확하게 할 수 있는 그런 패턴을 위에 보시는 것처럼 만들고요. 그다음 아래 서울 데이터는 기존에 모아놓은 데이터가 있었기 때문에 이걸 사용해서 테스트를 한번 진행을 해봤습니다. 진행을 한 결과가 이렇게 보여지는데요. 여기 지금 나와 있는 이 숫자들은 지금 코릴레이션인데 이게 보면 1이면 가장 정확하고 0이면 가장 정확하지 않고 그 정도로 생각을 하셔도 될 것 같습니다. 정확하게 그 이야기는 아니지만 0.6이라고 하면 60% 정도라고 생각을 해도 될 수 있는 그러한 어떤 칙도입니다. 요거에 대해서 좀 자세히 설명드리긴 어려운데요. 지금 보시게 되면 한국어 같은 경우에는 사실 기존에 맨 위에 있는 게 지금 existing OCR이라고 해서요. 가장 기존의 어떤 방법이거든요. 한국어 같은 경우에는 기존에도 어느 정도 잘 인식이 됐는데 가장 좀 문제가 됐던 부분이 중국어 간판들이었고요. 중국어 간판이 이제 우리나라 데이터 같은 경우는 특히 더 많지가 않기 때문에 이런 것들이 좀 잘 인식이 안 됐던 그런 경향이 있었던 것 같습니다. 그래서 요거를 좀 높일 수 있는 어떤 그런 튜닝 같은 걸 반복을 했고요. 튜닝을 반복한 결과 이제 어떤 글로벌 웨이츠하고 지금 보면 글로벌하고 로컬 웨이츠가 있는데 글로벌 웨이치 같은 경우에는 그 맨 마지막 단계로 가기에 앞서서요. 그 전 단계에서 그냥 우리가 지금 한국에는 뭐 이렇게 한국인이 한국어를 쓰는 사람이 80%고 중국어를 쓰는 사람이 한 5% 정도야. 이런 어떤 사전 지식 같은 것만 주입을 했을 때고 아래에 있는 것 같은 경우에는 그러한 사전 지식과 앞에 말씀드린 것 두 가지를 다 접목시킨 그런 경우입니다. 그래서 그 사전 지식만 접목했을 때도 원래 한 19% 되던 어떤 인식률이 34% 정도까지 좀 증가하는 걸 볼 수 있었고요. 여기에 어떤 로컬 그 논리지까지 접목했을 때는 한 42%까지 올라가는 것을 확인할 수가 있었습니다. 그래서 결과적으로 보게 되면 이 하이포스티컬 세팅하고 서울 데이터 모두 이런 임페어리컬 데이터 모두 우리가 어떤 이러한 지리적인 지식 내가 바로 옆에서 어떠한 간판들을 많이 봤는지 어떠한 언어의 간판들을 많이 봤는지 이것들을 고려해서 넣었을 때 정확도가 좀 올라가는 걸 볼 수 있었고요. 그렇기 때문에 이러한 어떤 노력을 계속한다면 이 언어경관 연구에서 어떤 이미지 언어 탐색의 정확성 같은 부분을 좀 높일 수 있지 않을까라는 생각을 했습니다. 계속 좀 진행 중인 연구이기 때문에 여기서 오늘 말씀드릴 수 있는 부분은 여기까지인 것 같고요. 네, 혹시 궁금하신 부분이 있다면 질문을 받도록 하겠습니다. 네, 감사합니다.
질문은 많은데 시간이 없어서
네,
뭐 하시는지 내가 알아서 할게.
네, 이런 것들을 하고 있습니다.
기다려. 다음에 그렇게. 2년 동안 내가 시키는 일을 하세요.
아, 예. 너무 어렵지 않은 일을 시켜주시면 감사합니다.
아이디어가 막 좀 있어.
저렇게 어려운 일을 하시는데 뭐 다 죽을 것 같습니다.
Alright, thank you.
너무 심플하게 저비용으로 지금 세션 체어를 하시는 것 같아요. 많이 안 하시는.
Yeah, because Alright. Okay, thank you for your presentation. Next will be the last presenter, Yerin Lee. Okay, trust in managerial response of sense negative review. Okay, thank you.
팔 넘겨주시면 되고
아, 네.
마이크 가까이 해주세요.
가까이요?
네.
아, 그 여기서 그냥 하면 되죠?
네네.
아, 네, 감사합니다. 어이구. 네, 잠시만요. 이거 한번 해봐도 여기서 네, 네 시작할까요? 네. 네. Good afternoon, everyone. It's nice to see you in this conference. And I'm Yerin, a doctoral student at Kyung Hee University. And first of all, very congratulations on the first Smart Tourism Conference, right? And it's very honored to have an opportunity to introduce our research. So today, Yes. Today, I'm going to talk about the research about the trust in managerial response offsets negative reviews. And here are the contents of this presentation. And I will start with introductions. Yeah. 네. As we already know, the negative reviews are one of the most recognized challenges that hotels have to seek the effective way to manage. And negative customers, as you can see in the left side in this slide, negative reviews, the negative customers' experience or evaluations impact not only the image or reputation of a hotel, but also performance by remaining on review sites for a very long time. Potential customers with a lack of personal experience of hotels are especially likely to rely on these online reviews from negative customers, which may diminish their trust and negatively influence the future attitude toward the hotels. Therefore, hotel management has to attenuate the negative effect of unfavorable reviews by rebuilding trust with an effective managerial response like this. According to TripAdvisor's official report, 77% of TripAdvisor travelers said managerial response makes online reviews very more helpful, and 88% of the travelers agreed that a well-written managerial response to negative reviews is very effective in improving hotels' impression. The academic literature also indicates that the bad strategies in managerial response can worsen this disadvantageous position by reducing the potential customers' perception of the hotel's trustworthiness, while there is considerable literature on negative reviews from perspective of service recovery for customers. The main limitation of the prior research is lack of understanding of how managerial response affect the restoration of potential customers' trust. In perspective of trust, literature have also referred that there are three dimensions of trust, as you can see: ability, benevolence, and integrity. Although scholars have postulated that these dimensions can lead to forming trust and a positive attitude toward hotel, significant questions remain. That is, we don't know the relative importance of the sub-dimensions: ability, benevolence, and integrity. Therefore, we viewed managerial response as a signal for rebuilding trust and suggested these two research questions as follows. The first one is, will ability and benevolence and integrity distinctively form trusting belief? And second one is, what specific factor among those is more influential or effective in changing a negative attitude to a favorable attitude toward the hotel? To address these research questions, this study aimed to examine how hotel managers can alleviate the impact of unfavorable reviews by fostering new levels of trust through their managerial response. And we focus on, So we focus on ascertaining the review's importance of those sub-dimensions. Through multiple studies, we investigated a 2- or 3-way interaction effect of the ability, benevolence, and integrity on the attitude toward the hotel's potential customers who read the negative online reviews of the hotel. Next part is theoretical background. Due to information asymmetry, online customers with a lag of personal experience seek a trust signal to reduce the uncertainty of risk. Given that managerial response shows the intercommunication, it has a very strong power over potential customers' perception, working as a trust signal. Since trust occurs in the mutual relationship, customers perceive a characteristic or attribute of trustees, which is defined as trusting belief. According to Mayer's study, trusting beliefs as an antecedent of customers' decision-making, and it is a multifaceted concept consisting of 3 dimensions: ability, benevolence, and integrity. According to the prior research, the definitions of ability, benevolence, and integrity is like that in this slide. That is, managerial responses could be trusting belief as the characteristic or attribute of hotels, and that makes potential customer restore trust, affecting the positive attitude to hotel. Even though the dimensions of trusting belief are interrelated to each other, ability represented the can-do aspect, while benevolence and integrity are about the will-do characteristics. Ability as a can-do factor is a component of trustees in these hotels, trustees in these studies hotels, in that they have the skills, ability to solve some problem. However, integrity and benevolence as the will-do factor influence whether they choose to use their ability or take action to solve that problem. So hotels can strategically choose whether to express their ability or willingness, or both of them, to deal with the issues arising from negative reviews. Considering that the managerial response from hotels is an important consideration for effective management strategies, understanding the impact of each dimension should be preceded. So, based on different characteristics between ability and the other factors, we argued that for negative reviews, the the hotel manager's ability will serve as the strongest indicator to show the issue is addressed. As a consequence, our research model and hypotheses are as follow. Specifically for focusing on the can-do factors interaction effect, the ability of a hotel manager is set as a main moderator variable. Therefore, we assume that ability influences the relationship between benevolence and integrity in potential customers' attitude toward hotel. To determine the causal inference, we used the experimental method with scenario-based experiments, which are widely used in hospitality industry. We conducted 3 studies to examine hypotheses with a total participant of 913 online panels, and all participants were randomly assigned to each experimental conditions. They were asked to imagine that they would like to book a hotel room for their upcoming trip and read a scenario about the managerial response of a hotel on the TripAdvisor or Expedia. The scenarios of managerial response are negative reviews were based on the actual response and online reviews and OTA sites and based on tourism literature. Study 1 is for investigating the interaction effects of benevolence and ability. The study 2 is for interaction of ability and integrity. Lastly, we examine the 3-way interaction in study 3. The operational definition of 3 dimensions in this study is like this table, and according to these operational definitions, we designed the scenario as follows. The high ability scenario includes high managerial responses status, general manager who can handle the issues, and high benevolence scenario indicate is providing a free one night voucher regardless of hotel's profit. Lastly, the manipulation of high integrity was geared toward dependable words such as at most apologize in considerations of the integrity definition. This is a stimulus example of our studies based on real reviews from TripAdvisor and the literature on tourism, as I said. And the results are shown in this slide. First of all, in study 1, strong evidence of an interaction effect between ability and benevolence was found on attitude toward the hotel, supporting the hypothesis 1 and as this graph. For the low benevolence condition, potential visitors' attitudes was very higher when ability in managerial response was high than when ability in managerial response was low. This suggests application of the different levels of ability and benevolence to form a trusting belief in potential visitor. And in study 2, the results show that only the main effect of ability was significant. In that, that means attitude toward the hotel was higher when the managerial ability level was high compared to when the ability level was low. Our result, this result reaffirmed the result of study 1 and provided an empirical examination that shows a clear distinction between ability and the other factors. Lastly, the result of study 3 as follows. There was a significant 3-way interaction effect, but no 2-way interaction effect between factors. In detail patterns is shown in this graph. In high ability conditions, the difference between high and low integrity was found to be only significant in low benevolence group, but not in high benevolence group. In contrast, in the low ability conditions, the difference between high and low integrity was found to be only significant for the participants in high benevolence, but not in low benevolence group. This empirical result provides evidence that ability has distinct capacity to rebuild the trust of of a potential tourist and playing a functional role by indicating that the hotel successfully solved the problem. Okay, and we can summarize the result that hotels should manage negative online reviews in order for potential tourists to perceive the hotel's ability to handle the issues of complaints drove managerial response. And these empirical findings from these 3 studies, several theoretical and practical implications as follows. You can see in this slide. Okay, that is the result suggests 2 exemplary managerial responses based on our result, as you can see here. Okay. Okay. Lastly, we are coming to the end. We don't have time, so I will finish. Q&A. Okay. Yeah.
Very interesting presentation. Thank you for sharing your idea to the audience. Actually, there are a lot of questions, but most of all, it is very interesting research. Thank you for the sharing. My first question is that is there any reason you didn't check the direct impact on the attitude? Direct impact on the attitude of each factor, each of three factors. And second question is that when you measure the attitude, I think you have to measure the differences between the post and the pre of the managerial response. So did you measure the differences or just measure the post managerial response of the review? This is my second question. The third question I've just forgot. Let me discuss with you later. Because of the time limit, I think I use two questions could be.
Okay. First of all, to answer the first question, we already checked the main effect through the three studies already. So I don't have much time in this conference, so I can't include the result of the effect. I mean, as you said, the ability, benevolence, and integrity affect the attitude. But yes, if you want, I can, send the result to you. And the second question is, we measured just one time attitude, and then first of all, this study is scenario-based the experiment. So as I said, we asked to imagine to the response, imagine the situation. So I think they can, the participants can, I think the participants can the answer about the question after reading the negative online reviews based on online scenario. Yes. So, I hope.
I really appreciate efforts of all the attendees today. Since those presentations, some of the presentations are still under research, and some of the already published, you can find the papers, or you can just contact directly with the attendees. Thank you for all of you. Thank you.
So we will take a quick 5-minute break, but for those of you who are preparing the academic session number 2, please stay tuned because you will be on air in 5 minutes. Thank you.